Hey everyone, welcome to a new YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing DALL-E 3 here on GPT. I'm also going to be showing you how you can get DALL-E 3 on your GPT, how to edit the images from DALL-E 3, and then how to actually find ways to make passive income with them. So today, we have a lot of information. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So as you can see, this is me playing around with it and testing different things. And I gotta say, it's exactly what I expected it to be. It's super easy to use, and it's pretty much the exact same power as Bing Create, simply because DALL-E 3 is the power, the AI behind both of them. So if you guys are familiar with Bing Create, we made a couple of videos on that. This is the exact same engine behind it, which is DALL-E 3. So it's really, really cool. And you could see I've been testing different things. I've asked here a prompt of a cartoon, cute, pastel-colored gnome-style sticker, and boom, we got some stickers, right? I looked here for maybe some pastel-colored cabins. I like this one. This is my favorite one out of the four, I would say. And, you know, this image right here, even though it's cut off, it's great. I'm actually going to show you how to fix this, how to edit it, how to make it better, right? I even asked it to create some t-shirt designs for me, and look at them right here. We got some. I'm going to show you how to fix all this kind of stuff, how to get the most out of this. So this is really cool, and I'm super excited. So let me show you first how to actually get access to DALL-E 3. So the first thing you have to do is you actually have to be using the current plan. I'll just show you guys the current plan, which is GPT-4, like the plus model, right? So GPT plus. And I personally have access to GPT plus for a while now, and I wasn't one of the first people to get access to DALL-E 3. It took a little while for me, but once I paid for it, you go over here into your settings, and you got all kinds of different settings, and you want to turn these on. Some people have said that, you know, turning these on faster, gives you access to these features earlier, and then, you know, that's kind of what I have on here. Now what you want to do is when you go over here to click like a new chat, you hover your mouse over GPT-4, and you got a whole bunch of different like settings here. So you have default, you have browse with Bing, you have advanced data analysis, and you have plugins, and of course you have DALL-E 3. So you want to click on that DALL-E 3 one, and that's exactly what I have here. And then once you have a folder or like a prompt panel open to that DALL-E 3, you could just keep using it over and over and over to create more designs. And the way you want to create designs is super simple. You could just tell it, you could say with DALL-E 3, create for me, and then list out whatever you want created. So let's say you want a cute sticker of a pineapple, right? Something like that. We could hit enter, and it will take its time to do that. Now, in terms of the speed of the generations, I've saw some generations that, you know, were created really, really fast for me, and I saw some that took a little while. But regardless, you know, it is going to do its thing right here, right now. And so while that's doing its thing, while it's, you know, kind of loading and creating me these images, it's probably going to come up really soon. I want to show you how to take these images and sell them, make money, edit them, etc. So actually, you could see while I'm talking, it just created some here for us. And they're pretty awesome. The cool thing as well about this is that you can go back and forth with GPT and tell it what you like and what you don't like. And remember, this is a prompt panel. So it takes the information of your past generations and uses that as indicators for its future success. So I could say something like, let's say, out of all three of these, let's say I like number 2 the most, right? I could say, I like number 2 the most, but I do prefer some adjustments. I want the pineapple to have, right? Let me just make sure I spell that right. The pineapple to have, let's say, a more lush green top, something like that. Right? So I'm giving it an adjustment, and we'll see if it could do it. You know, sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. Depends on the situation. But just having that AI to talk to, it's kind of insane. It's kind of like talking to a person or an artist in front of you that can create a design in a matter of seconds and say, well, no, I want this fixed or I want that fixed. And you could see this does kind of look a little different, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Yep, it does, because look, this is a more lighter green, and this is a more darker green. That's pretty cool. So it did make that small adjustment. Very, very interesting to see what it could do. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So let me show you now kind of how to edit these things. So I want to use these examples here because they've been cut off, and I'll show you kind of how to fix them. So, or even this example, right? You have images that are going to be cut off. They could be perfect, but for some reason they're cut off or there's something wrong with them. Like I'll give you an example, right? So this design here, this bunny is perfect. It looks great, but the word chubby bunny is spelled wrong. It's supposed to be spelled like this. So I'm going to show you what to do. All right. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to download this image, right? And so I already went ahead and did that. But if it's like this and I just want a section of the image, the first thing I need to do is I need to upscale the image dramatically, and then I need to crop it, right? And in order for me to crop it effectively, it needs to be upscaled. So if you look here, I'll just go ahead and drag and drop this one image for now. And by the way, the image is only 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels. So in terms of making money, you don't want to sell an image like this to a customer. They're not going to be happy. They're not going to be enjoying that kind of process. They need to have really good quality images that they could be proud of spending their hard-earned money for, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to 4x upscale just right now. And by the way, this upscale tool that I'm using is not just an upscaler, it's an editor, so I can edit certain things, I can change colors, I could do a lot of different things. But really what I'm trying to do here is notice how this got a lot cleaner? Yeah, well that's exactly what I'm working on. So I'm going to go over here, crop, and I could do a freeform crop, and I could do just like a regular kind of in crop, and I'm just not trying to hit any of the text or anything like that. And I'll just go ahead and hit apply here, right? So this is applied. Now the image itself is, if we look here, let's see, it's 4096 by 4096, but we did crop. So I can go over here, hit upscale again, and then in a regular like photo editor like GIMP or something like that, I can remove or erase everything in the background. But it just so happens that we have access to Canva. So I could do this in Canva as well. So I'll just label this like chubby bunny. I'll hit export, right? And then I'll go into Canva and try to upload this within Canva. So this is the new version, right? The bigger version. And it's right here. If I really wanted to use this for a design, I would go over here, hit edit image, and mind you, this is already upscaled, and I would hit BG remover. Now, once again, this is in a circumstance where I want to grab a certain element, and sometimes you'll see that this happens, right? The BG remover can't work with the image. So what do? I'm going to have to go over here to GIMP, right? And GIMP is a good editor because I can select certain things, delete certain things, things like that. So I'll go over here to GIMP. I'll upload the image into GIMP, right? And this is not necessarily showing you how to make money off the tool, how to make money off of this, but this is just an example, right? And I'll go over here and I'll erase certain things around. So I'll click select, I'll click invert, right? And I will go ahead and hit erase. And hold on, let me add an alpha channel, layer, transparency, add alpha channel, and just erase some of the things I don't necessarily want to see, and make it easier if I end up deciding to work on this whole entire thing here within GIMP. But that's essentially how you would do it for this section, right? But what if you want to sell these images? Well, the first thing, like I said, is you need to upscale. The second thing you can do is you can improve on design. So I'll show you what I mean. This image here is perfect for me to sell, right? There are people out there who would buy it, and I could actually prove that in just a second. I'll show you. But the problem is the image is cut off. So what can we do? We can upload it into Canva and get some magic expansion. So I'll show you what I mean. I made a video on this yesterday. I made a full video on it yesterday, and you could actually watch the video here, but I'll give you a quick little preview of the type of things that you could do. All right, so I'll click on this image, right, and I'll hit edit photo within Canva, and then I'll go over here, and we have this button here that says Magic Expand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click a freeform expansion, and I'm just going to expand this from left to right, just like this. And I'm going to give it more than enough space. I'll hit Magic Expand here. It will take its time. It will do its thing. And it will go ahead and do this for me where it's growing the image so it's not cut off, right? I think Magic Expand is one of the most genius creations because there are so many images with AI that are automatically cut off, right? And I can click on these different creations and I can see the differences. In our case, they're all pretty much almost identical. I'll just go ahead and hit done here, and now I have a new version of the image. Now, of course, you're still gonna have to take this, you're still gonna have to upscale it, all that kind of stuff. And once again, if you wanna access to this software, I'll leave a discounted link in the description box down below so you guys can get it on discount. But once again, you can go over here and change different colors. I made videos on this, right? You can change different things in the image. You can erase certain things. So like this software here has a built-in eraser. So I'll go over here, I'll hit erase, and I'll highlight certain things like this that I want erased or I want them gone, and they'll be erased out of the image. It just depends on how you set it up and what you do. So like, let's say I want this black piece right here erased, right? Just like this, I'll hit erase, see what happens there. It disappears, right? I'll go here, do the same thing, erase, it disappears, right? I can go here, hit erase, disappears. This is an alternative to using GIMP, right? If you don't want to use GIMP and you just want to have to erase everything and just do it all within this app, right? So I'll leave that link in the description. And once again, it is discounted automatically. You just click on it, it applies a discount. All right, so that's the first thing. Now I want to talk about how you can actually make money from this kind of stuff, because anybody can go out there and create a bunch of images, but they can't actually make money. So let me show you kind of how to break this down. So let me go ahead and pull up Etsy real quick, right? Etsy is an example because I've used Etsy before many times to not only buy products, but to sell products. And I'll explain what I mean. I have my first Etsy video I made was maybe 2 years ago, maybe even 2.5 years ago, who knows? And I spoke about Etsy, how I don't pay for ads on Etsy. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I never needed to. Every product I upload to Etsy, right, gets enough organic search traffic and has enough low competition, right, if that even makes grammatical sense. But basically, it has low competition to where I can start finagling and squeezing my way through. Now, here's the thing. With Etsy, you can do a lot of things. It's like having your own website. You can use social media to promote your Etsy store. You can have it just organically get sales, which in my opinion is the best way because it's the most passive. Or you can have pay for advertising. You can do SEO in terms of like on a website. For example, like you can create a blog, right? And that blog generates traffic to the Etsy store. I'm going to say upfront and honest right here, right now. I never had to do anything on Etsy besides upload the product to make money. Now, for some people that might seem crazy, but I don't compete in competition arenas that are just way too competitive. That's just how I play the game, right? And so I don't make too many videos. I haven't made too many videos on Etsy. I think in my whole entire life, I've maybe at max 30 videos on Etsy. But Etsy has been working for me for years, and it just generates passive income on a daily basis. And very, very rarely do I have to answer somebody back or anything like that. And I'll tell you kind of why. First thing I'm doing is in my description of my products, I'm explaining exactly what it is. If it's an SVG, if it's a PNG, or whatever it is, I'm explaining what it is. Okay? The next thing I'm doing is, like I said, and I kind of mentioned this already, but I'm finding high search volume, low competition designs. Now, high search volume is kind of like it's not always the case, because sometimes the search volume is not drastically high, but the competition is low enough to, once again, where I can finagle my way through. And I want to remind you guys, the only thing I need with Etsy is that first order. Assuming that nobody's going to give me a bad rating, that first order. And this is why I said earlier, you need to have your design upscaled. You need to have it look good. You need to have it edited properly, or else nobody's going to buy it. And I'll give you an example. So do you guys see like images or graphics like this? I sell stuff like this on Etsy, okay? But the only difference is my number is like anywhere from $3 to $4 to $5 a piece. Okay, $3 to $4 to $5. So I'm not going to sell anything for $1.40. That's just not me. Some people will. I won't. Okay, so I'm selling anywhere from $3 to $4 to $5. Sometimes $3.90. Most times $3.99. But let's just say anywhere from $3 to $5. If I'm doing that, right? First of all, it's not that expensive. So it's not like somebody's going to prefer a $1 design over a $3 design. There's really not much of a difference financially speaking, okay? They don't have to pay for shipping or anything like that. So, maybe they'll pay taxes, but other than that, there's not much to it, okay? Now, all I'm doing is I'm delivering that image, and I'm not manually doing it. With Etsy, you could just upload the files within Etsy, they purchase, they download, etc., All right. Now, the thing about this is like I said, you have to find what kind of strategy works for you. I've shown Instagram strategies on how to grow your Instagram accounts, get followers, get sales, and I've done so many of those videos in the past, right? And those strategies are killer, but once again, I don't need to do that with Etsy. I do that with Redbubble. I do that with TeePublic. I don't need to do that with Etsy, okay? Etsy is a good example because the market is so wide range and it's so large, and it's a perfect example of how to do things. So I want to show you here. This is an example of somebody who's selling these things, and they're a small seller. You could see here, $4.99. This item currently is in 6 people's carts. Now, to be honest, this doesn't matter as much, like if it says in 6 people's carts, unless you've actually sold on Etsy, you know what this means. When this store is relatively small, right, that we're looking at right now, that doesn't mean 6 people are definitely going to buy it. In order for a conversion that has to happen and it's in people's carts, Etsy has to send them emails. They have to keep nagging them. They have to give them they maybe encourage you to give them a discount. There's so many things that have to happen for those people to buy the product. So it doesn't necessarily mean that 6 people are buying this right now. But you want to look at this, right? How long do you think it took for this person to make it? Assuming AI made this image, right? A few seconds maybe. And then you jump into an upscaler, you upscale it, you edit it. You can even vectorize this, right? So you can turn it into a vector, sell it as an SVG, okay? They can use it for whatever kind of situation they want to use it in. And more importantly, you look here, this person has 31 reviews. Is that a lot of reviews? No, it's not a lot of reviews. But that's sales coming in gradually, okay? A lot of you guys want to make passive income. You have to think about what is the best strategy that I can use to put something out there and get results back without the least input. And that's kind of what engineers focus on. They focus on the least input with the greatest output. And they'll sit there and they'll test for hours. They're madmen. So my point here is that you want to apply the same kind of principles. If you're taking your image, you're uploading it to Redbubble, Zazzle, TeePublic, whatever the case may be, let's say even Etsy, that should be a golden rule. How can I put in the least to get the highest result? Now, I'm not sitting here and advocating laziness, but I'm advocating skill. So for me personally, the one thing, the kryptonite that makes me different compared to most people who speak about Etsy is I don't focus on advertising at all. In fact, I don't waste any time doing it because I know that my sales are coming gradually to the point where I can predict when my sales are coming in. Unless that design is new, right? And it maybe got a sale or two and the sales are going to start to ramp up. Then I can't really predict. But if there's a product that's sold 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 times, I can predict when the next sale is going to come in. It's almost like clockwork, right? And I'm going very specifically for these low competition niches. It's a benefit if it gets more search traffic, but once again, my main focus above all is low competition, right? The more search traffic, the better. Obviously, the more Etsy is in human existence, there's less and less and less of these low competition, high search volume niches. They still exist. Okay, I'm not going to blow what they are on camera. I'm not going to say what they are. They still exist, but they're less and less over the years. My point here is that you can take these graphics, these images, and turn it into any way you want to make an income. Something I also want to point out is you should be having a website. You should be having a blog. And that blog should direct traffic to every single source, not just Etsy, right? If you have an Etsy store, if you have a Zazzle store, you have a Redbubble store, you have all these different stores, you should be making money from every single one and taking your blog and sending traffic through it. Right? That's what should be happening. And people might say, well, what are you talking about blog? You never speak about. I have a whole YouTube channel on blogs. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to see. I'm actually building a blog live, and I'm probably going to record another episode soon. But I have a whole YouTube channel on this because blogging is how I make my money day to day. I have over 40 websites that generate income. It's more than 40 now, but I have over 40 websites that generate passive income on a daily basis. If I don't want to work on them, I don't have to, but they're still going to bring in income because they're bringing in traffic. And what is the most powerful tool on earth? Aside from GPT, it's Google. Google is the most powerful tool, and it's been being used for years upon years upon years. And here's the thing. So people come through Google to my blog posts, and then they get redirected into other websites, other products. Now, once again, I want to be clear. I don't necessarily need my blog to promote my Etsy stores. I use my blog for things like Redbubble, things like that. But once again, right, it's a benefit. If you have a blog and you're listening to this and you're trying to get going with making passive income, you have to have every element to help you along the way. So the first thing you need is you need a blog. You need to create stores on other platforms as well, and you need to take the traffic that's coming in through your blog and send it to those stores, right? You write content a specific way, you do things a certain way. I'm not going to go all out explaining it in this video once again, because this is, like I said, kind of like a tutorial video, but that's how it works, right? You should also, right, as an idea, start to train yourself with social media. Use Instagram, use Twitter. There are different tools that can help you get followers on a daily basis to help you do so. Once again, we have videos on this very YouTube channel that show you how to do it. Literally, all you have to do is come over here, type in Instagram, right, just like this, hit enter, and I show you different, like I have series videos, I have all kinds of different things that show you how to do this. Now, these videos are older, but the information within them still works. I created a video 1 month ago on how to do Instagram automation for 2023. And by the way, Instagram automation is when you gain followers automatically. You're automating your Instagram like a robot to work for you and get you sales, get you followers. And guess what? Followers equal sales, because followers is traffic. So once again, guys, everybody's going to have access to this content here. Everybody's going to get access to DALL-E. Everybody's going to be able to do things like this. What differs is the person who can make the money versus the person who just sits there and gets stuck on this endless treadmill or this endless cycle of just creating. It has to have a means to an end, right? The end is just not creating. The end is the income. At least that's what I think. So one possible way, like I said, is you could take these images and post them on every single print-on-demand site, right? You could take them and post them on Adobe Stock. I've spoken about Adobe Stock before. I'm thinking about releasing a course on it. I'm not really sure, but I've been killing it with Adobe Stock. I've been super addicted. It's been super easy to do so because all I'm doing is I'm taking images, I'm editing them, I'm uploading them into my Adobe Stock accounts, and I'm making money. And guess what about Adobe Stock? You're allowed to have multiple accounts on Adobe Stock. And not only Adobe Stock, but there's other websites that are associated that I call secondary sites, like Dreams Time. There's a few others. Wirestock. Wirestock is really not that good. I'll just be 100% honest with you. But there's so many others that you can allow to make money through different applications and things like that. So guys, once again, it's not about being able to create stuff like this. This is all cool, fine, and dandy, and I love it. But you got to learn how to make the income from it so you can walk away when this whole thing is over with this AI and the robots finally take over and we're old and we could barely walk. We could tell our, grandkids, say, hey, man, when this AI stuff was just starting, I figured out how to make money off of it. And that would be a pretty cool thing to say. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon, all right? Peace out. Bye.